not the working man system anymore. And the thing is, and voice cracked there. The thing is, they were smart. In some ways, voice crack again. In some ways, and I think at some point, if you keep this up, Nintendo, if you keep bringing it up and up and up, and I'm also going to cut that out.
What?
The fart you did.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Or I'm going to add it in the intro. Probably. But I'll add my voice cracks and I'll add my ear thing. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Anyway. Hello, welcome to the Whoops! Welcome to the episode of Game News Podcast. I'm Brett.
I have to. Yeah. Okay. I'm Spidey. That was
and today,
it's been a while since you've done that. A couple of years actually.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on here.
I was starting to think about what I was going to say next, which I was going to talk about last week's episode.
Yeah.
Just how we're actually going to talk about gaming this time.
Yeah.
Of course, I guess it kind of tied in.
It kind of tied in, but this was definitely.
I was in a dark place for a day.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anywho.
Nintendo's suing Palworld. Still.
Yep.
And I guess recently they came out with a tweet. Let me actually pull the tweet up just so I don't so I can look right through it and not just kind of paraphrase here.
Yeah, we're not going to paraphrase.
It's not looking good to me though.
Yeah, especially for them, for Palworld.
I don't know anything about how suing people works, but
yeah, Palworld.
Thank God.
We're talking about Palworld basically. They're not going so well.
Do you remember who created it? Like their name? I can't remember.
Pocket Pair, I think. That's the team name.
Dang, Seth. Good memory.
It's because I made a whole video about this.
Still, dude, that was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Pocket Pair?
Plus, I did just see an article about it.
I'm trying to see where release spring update. Sorry, keep talking.
Yeah, it's basically they're they're losing. The old Pocket Pair is losing the lawsuit.
I don't know. It wasn't
supposedly.
Maybe Palworld tweeted it.
But you're also going up against a billion-dollar corporation that
yeah, it is on a Palworld account.
Has straight up conquered the gaming space.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Nintendo's okay. Before we even get into this part, Nintendo going after an indie game company is so douchebaggy.
It is very scummy.
I do admit that some of the things were a little copy, but more of it to me was more of the Pokemon designs.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that.
And it is like there's things that are basically Pokeballs and.
But it's funny because you're not going to go after Digimon though. That's
Digimon didn't have Pokeballs.
Yeah, but it's a similar concept.
Digimon was a lot more popular too.
And it was a lot more popular, but you don't go after them.
That's a good point.
Why? Like, why don't you go swinging after them? They made an anime.
It is kind of different, though. You can't catch them.
It is different.
You have a partner that's kind of destined to you. I think it was different enough. But you would still think that Pokemon would try.
Yeah, that Nintendo would be like... I don't think they did because... I think what
Digimon blew up.
Digimon also really tried to burn its own path. Here's the thing.
Well, yeah, because you go in the world. It's a totally different
It burnt
story.
its own path. I feel like with Palworld, I respect the devs for that. I respect the people behind it. I don't give a crap. Here's the thing. This patent stuff is garbage. It's hot garbage. You shouldn't be patenting mechanics or anything. It's stupid. I think
mechanics is too far.
It slows down. Basically, you're saying, hey, if you want direct competition, well, you can't get it.
We really just need at least somewhat looser laws on it.
I agree.
Where it's like, guys,
not even
mechanics. Like certain things. Where's the point where we stop patenting things?
I understand designs, but mechanics, no.
I guess I get it if it's like something really.
Dude, it is just
something really crazy.
It's just a ball.
I'm not talking about Pokemon. I'm talking about other stuff in general.
Talking about like the Nemesis system and stuff.
Kind of. I do kind of get that. Like if it's actually really good, But then it's like, so
but then
does
it's
that mean
like-
people can't make the same thing?
No, they can't. They can't. They can't even be inspired by it. Clearly.
See, because so that's you just basically saying you want. See, that you shouldn't be able to patent that.
Yeah, games.
Then you're basically saying other games can't use AI with dialogue at all. Is that what you're trying to make happen?
That's
Like
going to
they have to
happen.
use
That's
your
going to happen
system?
for sure. That's going to happen for sure. The AI dialogue thing is going to be patented. AAA is going to be using it. No one else is going to.
Oh, I'm assuming
that
it's
is
a
going to
AAA
happen
thing.
100%. It will never be.
Well, they need something. They need something to flare up their crap they've been dishing out.
Well,
lately.
the funny part is that's being treated like it's some crazy thing, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool and all, but
The only way it would be cool is if it's really, really,
you'd
really
have to-
good.
The amount of you'd have to do so many crazy things to make that work.
Oh, I know.
You'd have to
100%.
like
It
I don't
would be
even know
so
how.
long. It would be such a long process.
It would probably. I honestly believe stuff like that's gonna take off in like a couple decades if it does happen.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll
Because
see.
the AI generated dialogue sounds insane.
Yeah, right now, the AI's gotten a lot better with taking images and making like. I was just watching AI videos of them of AI making cartoon characters into real people.
Yeah.
It used to be garbage,
Well, yeah.
and now it's insane. It basically looks. Some of it looks like it's real, which is kind of creepy.
This
But
is
that's not
what-
because I think it's.
This
really
is what
AI.
I want. I want someone to take a database. I want a professional company to make a database for people. I would buy it. I would buy this stuff. I want some
Yeah.
people to come out there and start doing this stuff.
Dude,
but a legal database.
I don't want to see. Like no one. People are afraid of like.
I would love to see.
So many people are afraid of like, oh, this is gonna be like movies are gonna use this stuff now. This is gonna use this stuff now. I'm like, we're still gonna be able to tell if
Yeah.
something's AI or not.
Agreed.
I don't think it's ever gonna get to a point.
Agreed. It'll definitely, because the problem is
Where
it's
it's
too
like-
perfect.
It's literally like, okay,
The human
I
imperfections
could even
are
see
gone.
common themes with all the girls. Like a lot of the guys that they would have in the AI transformations, they'd keep a lot of their aesthetic. Like I was like, oh, the guys would keep a lot of their personality from the cartoon. A lot of the
Yeah.
girls they just made hot. On like every, they're like,
It's
oh,
generic.
make them hot.
It's generic.
But maybe the guy did that for more clicks. I mean,
He probably did. Here's the thing, but circling back to what we were talking about.
yeah,
The thing is, first off, I mean, you could say that about anything, dude. Freaking Star Trek should copyright Star Wars then, because they were made in the 60s, and in the 70s Star Wars came out, and it had laser guns. You could say the same thing. Like, you could do this.
that's true.
And the thing is, no one else is going to do it. No one's going to... This is the thing. Nintendo barked up the tree of an indie company,
Which is so douchey.
which is terrible. But guess what? If they bark the tree up of I guarantee this is what's going to happen. Someday they're going to bark up the tree of a company that's big, and they are going to have hell to pay. I believe someday, in the future, someday Nintendo will deal with someone. They are too jealous, too angry, and too bitter, and somebody, a AAA company, is going to make an idea that just happens to be similar, and guess what? They're going to come knocking down, and guess what's going to happen? The company's going to buy them. This is the thing.
You think that Nintendo's? That's a crazy prediction.
Someday, I'm saying there will be a future. There will be. I firmly believe if they're willing to go after indies.
The funny thing is, like, if they just would have waited it out, they would have seen that it died out anyway.
They would have, yes.
Like, I mean, it's not that it died out. Like, it's still a game.
still
that
a
they'll be
game,
able.
yeah.
I'm sure they'll be able to dev. It'll be around for a while.
I'm
like,
sure the updates will bring more
Yeah.
people in.
Like, I'm not saying that it's dead.
No.
But I mean, like, compared to Pokemon, that's a behemoth.
Yeah. The reason why
You really need those to you a like small percentage of numbers back into Pokemon who are all going to be back when a new game comes out anyway.
Well, this is what Palworld should have done before they even started. This is what I would have done. First off, I would have probably
You should
scrapped
have made it way less close.
scrapped the ball stuff.
Yeah, just
but
right
I
off
would
the
have
bat. Make it like cards or like a.
I would've
make up
just
your own thing.
copied a Yu-Gi-Oh thing where you like
Yeah.
press something on your wrist. and
Yeah,
then
like there's
it
yes.
comes out of that.
There's so many things they could have done.
But what I would have done, secondly, anime. I would have outsourced some stuff. Whether like if it got big enough, I would have outsourced to anime. I would have outsourced to cards. I would have outsourced to manga.
Yeah, but it's like you don't just because you were popular for a little bit doesn't mean you generated enough revenue to do that.
I'm saying the reason why Pokemon even blew up was partially because it had an anime, because it had a card game,
but it was
because it had manga. The game sold.
Because it was the game first, right?
Yes.
That sold so well that they got enough money to think about that. I don't think Palworld was selling like Pokemon was back then.
I'm saying if it does happen, you do that. The second you get that opportunity, you do that.
This is what people don't get. This is where the market suffers is your game is most likely not going to be the next big game. Well, that's obvious, but it's like people keep saying things about like Palworld's going to kill this. It's going to be huge.
It's not going to be the Pokemon killer. Now. I do hope someday something does come out someday that does kill it. I personally hope that something
want Pokemon to die.
Maybe not kill it, but get them back on track. You know, compete with them. Add some variety to the AAA space.
Yeah.
I'm sick of seeing the same devs over and over. Dude, Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, all these people. I'm sick of seeing the same studios. I want something new. I want someone new.
I don't know who could possibly
I want something interesting.
Take on these guys.
I want someone to come in.
Because we got the Steam Deck. That's the only kind of different thing we've gotten in forever.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is...
Because they made a console that flopped. Steam did.
Or maybe, I don't... Did they? Yeah.
Yeah, they made like this console that was like...
It's been a long time since I've looked
barely
into stuff
a console,
like that.
But it was. It's basically like Steam on a console, pretty much.
Which
is cool. But.
Yeah, but it's like...
But then just get a PC.
Agreed.
Honestly.
Agreed. And this is the thing. It's like... I want Nintendo to get some comeuppance. Maybe I don't want Pokemon to die.
Dude,
but
I do too. They need to be told that they're not like... They're not all that.
This is what I want to happen. I would love... There were rumors of a Microsoft deal back in the day that Microsoft would buy them. I would have loved if Microsoft... Phil Spencer even said, hey, it'd be cool to buy them. He literally said that off the cuff.
But like, Nintendo's so arrogant. Like, I don't know that they would ever do that.
I don't know if they'd ever do it, but money is
maybe
money.
If you offered them, like... They probably want way more than they're worth.
Yes, but here's the thing.
That they're truthfully worth.
I'm saying. I personally think, Nintendo's aggressive. They're not the nicest of guys.
No.
They're not the nicest of guys.
You know what it is they like try to, it's almost like they try to appear like they are, though.
They try to appear like they're wholesome, family-friendly. They're the working man system.
They slap us with a $500 system.
And they're not the working man system anymore. And the thing is, and voice cracked there, the thing is... if you keep putting that price up, there is a point when you get... dude, that was supposed to be... I've seen, like, computer building companies back in the day, back when building a computer wasn't, like, the financially biggest thing. I've seen, like, massive, like, e-machines and stuff. Those guys were massive. They were the biggest thing on the market. They were around for years.
Yeah.
But at some point... They kind of started jacking up the price. They started making some crappy business decisions, and they died.
Yeah.
And they died. And the thing is, they are getting to a point where people are at least thinking about the price, which you never
heard before.
You've never heard before.
If you think about it.
I'm not saying they won't buy it, but I will say this. Some people will keep their Switch 1. Some people will. A lot of people will.
I am not getting a Switch 2 until it's like nothing.
This reminds me of the 3DS DS situation.
Plus, I don't play realistically, I don't play Nintendo games really anyway.
Same.
I like Mario Kart, and I only play games that I can just emulate. Like the games I want to play are ones I can emulate anyway. So I'm not going to buy a new Switch to play Mario Kart.
No.
I'm just not.
Well, you know what's funny? The highest selling console in Nintendo's library is the DS. Dude, the regular DS Lite. And that's because notice the reason why it's that way is because at the time the 3DS was expensive, dude. $300 was expensive for a handheld.
Yeah.
You know, it was expensive for like $200 or wherever it was. I think it was like $300, but
yeah, they dropped the price for it.
It was a ton of money.
Like raged and then
and
they
people
dropped the
raged about it.
price.
They dropped the price. But they're getting a little bit arrogant now. See, back then they were a
Yeah.
little humble. They had a little bit of humbleness to them.
Kind of. It's like they tried first, though. You know what I mean? Like if people were buying it, they would be like, "Okay, cool."
They tried, but I'm saying, I'm saying, yeah. What is wrong with my voice? I'm saying,
Yeah.
they're very much being. I mean, back then they had a humbleness to them. They
Yeah.
did, straight up.
Definitely more so.
Like they had a humbleness. They seemed to appreciate the people that were, you know, doing what they had to do with their games, buying their games. They appreciated the fan bases. More remakes were coming out, but they were actually good remakes. You know, more virtual consoles would come out, so you could play older games. Like they had a appreciation for what they had.
yeah.
But as time went on, as the Switch came out, that was kind of, I feel, actually, I think the Wii U was the turning point. That was the turning point when
That system sucked.
it was a turning point when, yes, they had a virtual console, but it had less games.
The amount of people that said they just bought it for a Smash game that I heard was like crazy. But they're like, "Yeah, I just bought a Wii
Yeah, for Smash 4.
Wii U for Smash 4."
Yep, or Mario Maker. Those
I'm
were
not
the
saying
two
Smash 4
sellers.
is amazing. I'm just saying people,
Those were the two
people buy
sellers.
stuff for Smash. Or yeah, Mario Maker.
Yeah,
was cool,
those
too.
two were the only sellers.
There were so many dumb-looking games.
Oh yeah, dude, it
They
was
tried to use the screen gimmick for like that zombie one.
yeah, and I guess what I'm telling you is just because everyone thinks something's impenetrable or sacred or can't be touched or a company can't be this or that, I don't believe that for crap. I believe at some point, I'm not saying it's going to happen in our lifetime. I'm not saying it's going to happen in the next couple years, but I firmly believe that it's like Nintendo has been going for since the 80s, right? 85. That's when they released Super Mario. You know, Super Mario. They were a card company before that, a trading card company. Believe
Yeah.
it or not.
Yeah,
But
I remember that.
it's like I personally think Nintendo is actually a small fish in the pond. I firmly think they are in some ways because what you are benefiting off of, look at what Microsoft's doing. You're benefiting off of computers and games and all these
Oh
things.
yeah, in terms
Look
of
at Sony.
Nintendo's like just a game company, pretty much. And I know that they have cards and like they have brands and like, they're more like just entertainment.
Yes.
Like, oh, we make products off of our brands that are games, and they're mainly just game stuff, and then they sell merch based off those games, and that's pretty much it, right?
Oh yeah, that's basically it. And then look at Sony. Movies, sound, editing software.
Oh, yeah.
So many things
Yes. And
like-
compared to those, if it's not gaming, like people don't really. I doubt they're much of a.
yeah, I gotta pick this. Yeah, tomorrow I'm just gonna schedule.
I doubt there's much of a difference there.
No, there isn't. And the thing
I'm
is,
just saying, in terms of games, they're not a small fish.
no. But in terms of
And also, a lot of these big companies are flopping right now, and they're still around.
yeah,
These companies can mess up for a long
Yes.
time before they're actually. I mean, how is Ubisoft or Ubisoft or whatever around?
they're gonna die. I know that sounds like
that
a
is
blanket
shocking.
term. They have basically they're gonna be in desperate company mode. That's what
They'll probably get bought out, right? Like someone will buy them or something.
my
right?
speculation with the Ubisoft situation is they're going to try to pull on nostalgia because that's all they have
Yeah.
left. That's all they have left. I mean,
Yeah.
they need to realize that
Really, actually, yeah, that is all
they kind of have to do it because
They made an Assassin's Creed mobile game.
they kind of have to do it because when you think about it,
Wait, but dude, a mobile game.
I know.
Like, so here's the deal. Most console and computer people are in the U.S.
Yes.
That's just a fact. A lot of the world is playing games on their phone.
Yes.
Why would they know anything about Assassin's Creed if they
Agreed.
don't have consoles
Agreed.
or PCs?
100%. I
Like,
agree
that
with
makes
you.
no sense. So they do that. What a surprise it flopped. Because
Yeah.
here, why would I play an Assassin's Creed mobile game when I can play
Yeah, I can play Assassin's
Creed? They're awesome.
Yeah.
Over there, they don't know who Assassin's Creed is and don't care.
Yeah, they don't know what
so
the story
one time
is.
you give us the cool character we like back, you put it in a mobile game. There's multiple characters, but Altair.
Yeah, they did
it
it
in a mobile game.
It was way back in the day.
And it's like
there was like a DS.
And I was like, okay. I'm like, okay, so you give us a mobile game recently where we all, like, I saw stuff on Altair and I was like, oh, it's in a mobile game.
Yeah, it's in. It was in way back in the day. Altair's Chronicles.
There's a mobile game recently that the Ubisoft dropped.
Oh, they did?
And I don't even know if they may have canceled it.
Guaranteed.
But Altair was supposed to be one of the characters.
Yeah, it was like one of those ensemble things.
So I'm assuming it was going to be like a really bad collector, like gotcha crap.
Yeah, and they canceled it.
And they literally, I think they canceled it, or either still working. It's probably canceled.
Oh, it's dead.
Either way, I'm saying, what a stupid. Who's in charge?
I don't know.
If you're gonna make a mobile game, you just got to make a new IP. You really do. Like,
agreed.
Because nobody cares.
I agree with you.
People in other countries don't care about your characters that they don't know about.
No,
that's just the truth. So yeah.
But what I'm saying
is those guys are morons.
Oh, agreed.
Like, how are they still? Like, these guys are still like, they have to be done soon.
Ubisoft. Here's the thing. They're going to be in desperate mode.
And their new Assassin's Creed game flopped. All of them flopped.
The only way I think they're going to survive, and I know they're going to do this, I believe by a narrow margin, is they're going to look at fan requests, even ones from a long time ago, because people wanted to see The Secret Crusade with Altair. It was a book that like described his origin story, described all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then they wanted the DS game too. They wanted elements from that because it was actually surprisingly solid story-wise. They wanted all these elements to be adapted in a way. They don't have to be 100% adapted in a way into a game about him, giving us a full story. Because Ezio can get an origin story. Ezio, we can see the beginning of his stuff, but we can't see Altair. Like, we can't see his beginning. We can't see how he became what he was. That's what they're going to do. Because there's no other option. Nobody wants to see Ezio again because his story was concluded. I do, but that's just because that's who I am.
I do because I like him, but it's like, at least we got we did get an ending for Altair, too.
But we barely got to see any of his
Just a lot
journey.
of skipped.
Yeah, a lot of skipped stuff. Massive gaps. Massive gaps. And there are some gaps with Ezio's, too.
There are, but not as many. Not as long.
I'm not saying detail everything.
I wonder what made them go with Ezio more later.
It's because AC2, at the time, AC2 was just better received than the first game.
Dude, I love the first game.
Even though I love the first game, too.
I love
it. Nowadays...
It definitely had the best segments where you're in the real world.
I think it had the best... Ironically, I think it had the best everything. Because for me, it's like... My problem with AC2 and stuff... is it used to be about being an assassin. I love AC2. I think it's a great game. What was nice about the first game is it was primarily focused on getting information, killing your target. I know that sounds repetitive, but the thing is, that's what an assassin does. You don't run around with Leonardo da Vinci on a carriage ride, knocking guys off and doing
cool,
stuff.
Though.
As cool as it was, like, I guess for me, I wanted people to I liked the darker themes of the first game with, like, the fact that it showed, like, the Crusades in a way that was like, oh, there's a lot of grays and a lot of...
The first one's awesome.
There's a lot of stuff I don't agree with the, like... Obviously, morally, when it comes to the stories of it, but I think really
game-wise, like gameplay-wise, the first one is I probably had more fun with.
Yeah, I liked going to towns.
Darker. I felt like I was more in control of what was going on. It was harder to assassinate people and stuff.
Now, 2's story is really good. Yeah. That's the thing. 2.
Even though I loved 1's story too, but
if you could, this is my perfect ideal.
1 was more like 2 was like a movie.
Oh, it
almost.
Was.
First one wasn't, but awesome.
Having recently replayed 2 again and again, it's been, oh my gosh, it's so good. But what I will say about it is, this is what they got to do.
They should really just stop making those games after 3. Honestly,
This is what they.
No,
they
I don't
gotta
know.
do. This is what they got to do. Go back to what they made. This is what I wanted. I did want them to end after 3 at the time, but now I'm like,
But the Gangs of New York one I liked. There's
this-
still some afterwards that I like.
yes. Go back to characters you didn't finish the story for. Go back to Altair. Go back to Connor.
They
Go back
finished
to-
it. You mean give us more of their
Give
story?
us more to show because Altair got nothing.
They
He got 2
basically
games.
were like, boom, he's old, and then he's.
Yeah, they showed like little bits and pieces.
It was cool
between.
that he was that devoted the whole time to it.
And that's perfect ending to his story. But you need.
Doesn't he jump off? He's like old and he jumps off the.
Well, he was young when he did that. He was like in the
Tower?
first game.
Oh,
He died.
I thought
in
he
a
killed himself
library
when he was
alone.
old. Oh, he did. Okay, I thought
Yeah.
he killed himself.
He just died as an old
Probably
man.
mixing up the story.
He was
yeah.
90. He was a 90-year-old man.
Still studying.
Yep, still in there. And then, basically he went into this vault, and he took the apple that he had, and then he died with it in there because he didn't want anyone to get it. So he locked himself in there with it. So he died. But all I'm saying is Ubisoft, and then you got to bring back Splinter Cell. You have to bring back Splinter Cell.
They had this battle royale game they made that they scrapped. There's a lot of scrapping going on where I feel like there's a lot of scrapping that goes on that it's like, well, then isn't that money just a loss then?
Oh yeah, dude, they do that all
Like,
the time.
It's the same thing with Supercell. I'm not trying to get off topic,
It's
but
still
Supercell does the same thing. I'm like,
viable.
I know that Supercell is making buku bucks.
Yeah.
But it's still like, sometimes they scrap stuff. I'm like, ugh. Like, dude, that's so much money down the
Where
tubes.
did you hear the term buku?
I don't know. Why?
Just curious.
I don't know where I heard buku from. It was a
Yeah,
long
I've never
time
heard
ago.
it in my life.
It's like a lot. It was definitely more of like a 90s thing, I think. I don't think, it's not like new.
I see. But
I
anyway,
think I saw it in like Brink or like some movie from the 90s.
what I was gonna
Early
say,
2000s.
you were saying about Supercell.
They make a ton of money, but it's like every time they scrap stuff, I'm just like, oh, like maybe, like, are you that sure to scrap it? That you think it's gonna do? Because I feel like you could release it, and even if it flops, make some money off it. I understand Supercell is kind of like they don't want to put out crap, that's respectable. But it's like Ubisoft. It's like, dude, they had a Splinter Cell battle royale that was basically fully done. Yes, battle royale's overdone at this point.
Yes.
But I
At the
think it
time-
would have done okay.
At the time, it could have been really good.
People who even play tested it were like, it's cool. Like, there's stuff they got to change, but it's cool. It's like, dude, not that I would have been, I'm not saying I would have been super into it. I'm just saying, like, that would have helped you.
Yeah, that would have
Like,
helped.
what? You scrapped it. You guys can't afford to be scrapping stuff.
I think they scrapped straight up full Splinter Cell games too. They scrapped
Oh, yeah.
like straight up sequels.
It's like, dude, what are
So-
you doing? Stop scrapping things.
And that's the
You
thing.
need this.
Well, this is a thing I want to tell companies.
you
as a
don't
whole.
scrap Avatar, but you scrap Splinter Cell stuff.
Companies as a whole. This is what I want to tell them. In
Like,
fact,
it's like, who's at the wheel?
this is giving me a discussion. This is actually leading into something massive because I do have some stuff where it's like there's a lot of games that have been canceled. There was going to be a game for Zelda about the Sheikah tribe. You're going to be playing as a Sheik
that'd be really
during
cool.
Adult Lake's timeline when he left.
Been really cool.
You would have been playing that.
Genius game. Genius
there was a
game.
Marvel Nemesis sequel that was planned. That's actually playable.
That'd be awesome.
That I saw videos of.
Kind of crazy they picked that, but
The reason why was because EA saw lucrative potential. They got rid of those
EA's
imperfect
also
guys.
moronic.
They got rid of. Well, this was back in the day.
No, I know.
They got rid of. They got rid of those imperfect guys. You know, those weird looking dudes.
Yeah.
And they wanted to make it more. It had like destructible environments. You were fighting in the city. It was kind of. It was. I guess you could say a spiritual successor, more so.
That'd be cool.
But they canceled
I
that.
I like Nemesis.
They
I just didn't think
canceled
it. Did
it.
Well.
They also canceled Generals 2. Like, companies canceled a lot of...
Sucks.
Especially Splinter Cell. With Assassin's Creed, this is what I'm telling Ubisoft. This is a letter to Ubisoft, using those as examples. You don't get to cancel projects anymore. You don't have the time. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
You
dude,
can't.
at this point, just put it out.
Yes.
It doesn't matter, even if it's average. Because they put out X Defiant. That thing died.
Yeah, that
Holy
died
God,
fast. That died fast.
And that was actually not even that bad of a game.
There were some canceled.
That had Splinter Cell. That was kind of Splinter Cell-y. They had Splinter Cell characters in it.
Oh yeah, no.
It was like based in that universe.
Yeah, it was based in the world of it.
But it wasn't an actual Splinter Cell.
Well, they also had a mobile game for Splinter Cell that was like a tactics turn-based thing that they got rid of.
Cool. That sounds kind of cool. They flopped it.
Well, that it didn't.
It
came out. It came out,
okay.
but it was not like a hit. But here's the thing, Ubisoft. If I were them,
like,
I would
in charge. Who's making the calls?
Not Patrice. That guy left.
Like
he bailed.
It makes no sense to me.
He was part of why they succeeded.
I'm also learning that the older I get, the more these companies don't care about anything but money.
Oh yeah.
They don't have any.
Yes.
I keep thinking like, dude, there's some heart going into this stuff.
No.
It doesn't feel like it anymore, which is why that is exactly why it feels like everything sucks now.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't think the big boom during COVID didn't help.
No.
Because then we got these idiots coming in, seeing dollar signs and ruining everything.
They did.
So it's like, okay, cool. You made esports stupid for like not all of it,
you
but like a lot
esports.
of it. You made games like series we love stupid.
Yep, you killed Assassin's Creed
because they're like, wait, this is making money. Like, don't make new ideas. Like, dude, you guys suck. Everybody cares about money so bad. And the second that people get a whiff of money, it's like they change to idiots.
Here's what's sad about that. Assassin's Creed, you could do any time period.
You could.
Any time period. You have a full, list.
I mean, in general, Ubisoft, whoever's making decisions is an idiot. So they're not going to be able to... They're not going to make a smart decision with Assassin's Creed. That's clear.
I think that at this
they need
point,
like a new guy.
No, dude, they are at the point where they're at their knees. They can't. They're at the knees of us. We are the deciders now because we are the future. Because guess what? If they fail that bad, that's not how it works, Bucko. That's not how it works. You give us what we want.
Dude, the new one is terrible.
This and. Either this is what they're going to do. Either they're going to fall.
I know you said there's a lot of time periods they could go to, which there is.
They're going to fall.
I would love it if they were in the future, like there's still assassins in the
in the modern time. Go modern times, and then if you want to go back for quite a couple games, you go modern times, and then if you want to go back, you can go back.
Yeah.
Or in the future. This is the thing. Ubisoft is not taking advantage of this stuff.
You're right. Yeah.
If they were smart, in some ways. Voice crack again. In some ways,
yeah.
To me, that first game. Let's say they did that idea to get people back in. They did that Altair thing. Instead, this is what I would do. Decanonize the ending of 3. You can do time mumbo jumbo garbage. I mean, they have glowy gods, so. They can do whatever they want. Bring Desmond back. Put him in modern games. Use the first Assassin's Creed.
So cool.
Use the Altair thing to link to that story and, catapult us off into Desmond's story.
That's why. Oh, that would be awesome.
That's how it would be. It would be the big.
Yeah, because the first game did amazing with the Desmond parts and the Altair
because it
parts.
wasn't trying to be. It was a mystery.
Dude, it was amazing. That's why I just got tingles in my spine from this game.
The twists
thinking about it.
were pretty cool.
The freaking first game was amazing in that way, like with the actual mystery.
Yeah, it was a mystery.
Piecing together Desmond's.
Yeah, you're piecing together why the heck he was kidnapped by these people, what their ideologies are, why they did this stuff. Whew. And then you discover blood on the wall and this markings at the end.
Yeah.
And then 2 screwed it up because they tried to reveal too much. They revealed
really
too
did.
much.
That's what I was saying. I think Desmond's parts was worse in the second one.
The fighting in Brotherhood is pretty good, but the problem is when you get to Revelations, you have some interesting parts, but then 3 comes around and they screw it up.
I mean, a good Assassin's Creed game needs to have both the Animus parts and the not. They need to both be good.
You need to bring Desmond back because that is the only way you're going to get people back.
That would be. And you could still show us more Altair stuff.
Yes.
and launch Desmond having his own game.
Yes, that's the thing. That's what this Altair thing is about leaping into. Instead, we go back in time, we do the Assassin's Creed 3 thing. We don't remake Assassin's Creed 3, we don't even touch it. We have Desmond's consciousness, knowing, what he has now, going back to that time period, and him solving the problem without dying, and then getting on to something else. Finishing the Templars off. That is Desmond's story arc. Defeating the Templars. Ending the conflict that's gone on for years. Literal years. And then if you want to do future stuff, you can do future stuff, but no more modern stuff. It's all about Desmond. And you know what he gets? He gets 6 games. We don't do 4. We don't do 5. We do 6. We give him more development.
Yeah.
We give him a full story. And then at the end of that, then we can go back to all the weird time travel stuff and all that jazz.
Dude, I agree. That would be awesome.
And then
if only we were in charge.
Series is over. Well,
but the thing is, they don't. It's
money talks, dude.
Yeah, money talks, and also the people who actually I think care about the games don't get to make the decisions.
No.
The people who are get these idiots who don't
Agreed.
care about
The corporate
series
people,
away from the series.
Get the corporate people.
They
out.
ruin everything they touch. Everything. Not once has money come in, like big money come in, and everybody's like,
Good
they
job,
did a really
guys.
good job.
Good job.
No. We get 343. Trash.
Yeah, and they're trying this Unreal thing. I don't even think that project's going to get off the ground. I'm just being honest.
They suck. It doesn't matter.
It's not going to get off the ground
suck.
because, and the people who made the Chief Collection saved the franchise. Those guys did it. The people who made the multiplayer for Infinite, those guys saved it.
It's the only reason I think that new Halo isn't completely dead.
Yep.
Because the multiplayer's good.
Yep.
It's fun.
And you can play any Halo now. Any multiplayer.
And that too, yeah.
You can play any multiplayer from any era, from any time.
That absolutely. I was just thinking for Infinite, I think New Halo would be dead
It would be dead.
if the multiplayer wasn't good.
The storyline writers somehow can't make a DLC for a campaign that was so bare bones.
Master Chief is such an easy person to come up with good ideas of what we'd like to play for.
Also, guess what? Chief's great in that game. This is the thing. The only reason why I give Infinite any form of kudos for the story is because Chief's moments are good. The other characters are flat. The villain's good, but the villains are good. The brutes are great, but there's a problem. The side characters are boring. You only have 3 people who are main characters.
Yeah. But that's all I'm saying is this is all proof, to circle back, is proof that like you guys coming in is ruining it.
Yes.
Who is these guys? Who's calling the shots to bring these idiots in?
The reason why, well,
it's literally like it's like people see dollar signs and then they forget about anything they care about, which I can't even relate to, even if I was making a ton of money.
Agreed.
Like I don't need a lot of money. Like that's why the guy from Stardew Valley is so cool.
Oh yeah, because he said, "Hey, here's the game, and if you want to mod it, if you want to do anything, here you go."
Yes.
He wasn't trying
so cool.
to be
He wasn't
angry.
like, I'm going to be rich.
He also wasn't like, dude, cancel these modders, cancel these people, get rid of their projects.
Yes.
He was supporting his community.
Exactly.
He was supporting the fan artists, as cringe as that is.
Those are the guys that we need to be on charge of what we of. That guy needs to be on charge of other series that he loves. Because that guy would kill it on that stuff.
Here's what I believe. I think Ubisoft may be I think there's 2 things. They fall, which I'd be perfectly okay with. If Ubisoft fell, whatever.
I know. I am too.
It's fine. The
We've
franchise
had enough good Assassin's Creed that I can play it for so long.
Agreed. And I think the series needed to end. The problem with 3 is the reason why it needed to end with 3 is because they killed Desmond.
Yes.
That's the reason why, and they should have never done that.
No, that was so dumb.
They should have. That shouldn't have been the last game. It was just getting interesting.
It shouldn't have been the last game. And honestly, I would have been okay if that was the last game. I do like some of the ones after, but I still not so much that I think they couldn't have ended.
The OGs are better than the new stuff.
They become better in the light that the ones in the future past that are really bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like they keep becoming more and more appealing to me, but
Rogue-
realistically,
Rogue was probably like I do like Black Flag as a game.
so do I.
But I will say Rogue is the only Assassin's Creed game that came out after that even tried to do like good, and it succeeded in some ways.
Because I like
being a Templar is great.
the New York. Yeah, that game's cool.
You know, I like that. They could have leaned into it a little more. I would have been okay with being a
Definitely
bit
could
more
have.
evil. Like I didn't want this weird like constant. I like the gray stuff. It's fine in 3, but does every Templar have to have like this multifaceted thing? I kind of miss when it was just that's what they were.
I like the New York Gangs of New York kind of one, but that could have just not been an
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed game.
That should not have been an
That
Assassin's
could have
Creed
just been
game.
a sick game that you made, just a random new IP.
In fact,
That's
Black
the thing
Flag,
is they don't have to keep slapping success. That's another dumb thing that they did.
they kept
They
slapping
didn't have to keep
AC on
slapping
everything.
Assassin's Creed onto things that could have been good games because people like Valhalla,
Yeah,
like in general.
yeah. It should have just been what
Just
it
make
was.
it a Viking game that you made.
Yes.
Don't label it Assassin's Creed. Then you could make a sick Viking game, and no one's like, "What the crap are you doing?"
I'll give Black Flag this.
That's another like
Lore-wise-
greedy bullcrap people.
Lore-wise,
Not Black Flag. It was
Black Flag
was good.
lore-wise did
But we're-
work,
like, yeah.
but I wouldn't have made it I would have made a different game for Assassin's Creed. I would have burned a different
They
path.
could have made it cool. Yeah, they didn't have. It did better, but it still didn't have to.
No.
Because
No.
the actual game is dope.
Rogue is a much better Assassin's Creed game than Black Flag was.
Like seriously, they could have literally just. I'm not kidding.
I know the controversial
Just
hot takes.
They're literally just throwing garbage. They're throwing a respected name onto not garbage, but onto stuff they shouldn't. Because some idiot is so greedy and
They're like,
stupid
dude, Assassin's Creed.
that he thinks that they have to put in. They're like, well, this will help it sell more. That's not necessarily true.
I know.
That's not necessarily true because I didn't touch it.
Yeah, I didn't touch it either.
Don't care.
I didn't touch Origins and Origins was supposed to be an Assassin's Creed game, but it was an RPG, and I was like, it's a stealth game. Where's the stealth?
Just yeah.
Why is it an RPG?
Dude, just stop making bad decisions, which is not going to happen. And they're gonna. I'll be shocked if they're around. Pretty quick here.
Meanwhile,
That's the only one that I do think.
Metal Gear made PSP games that were amazing. They made spin-offs like
So
Peace
good.
Walker and Portable Ops and
Dude. So yeah. I mean, back to Nintendo.
yeah, they I don't know what the thing is.
The thing about Nintendo is they think they're so great, and that is clear.
Oh yeah, they think they're amazing.
And they also don't care what we think about them at all.
No, they don't.
0%.
They don't, because the whales will come in for them and be like, hey. It's like mobile games. That's kind of what it's like, where you have a company exploiting the people that like it.
There are a lot of really evil mobile games that you could get tempted to spend money you don't have.
They're exploiting the crap out of people.
And it's like, it gives you an illusion of like fake skill.
It's
where
like,
you're
dude, I'm
oh.
skilled. Whoa. It's like, no,
And
you're
really,
not.
it's like if you were all even, would you be winning? Like, probably not.
And that's my problem but I feel like this is one thing I'll say about Nintendo. Yeah, they've definitely stepped in the fans' fun, but now they're starting to step into the fun money-wise with the general customer,
Yeah.
the general consumer. The thing is, if you keep stepping on their toes,
Yeah.
this is a warning
Yeah.
for you. This is a warning. I doubt any one of them's gonna watch it, but this is a warning. General consumers, when money becomes a thing, when it genuinely gets higher and
Yeah.
higher and higher, when you start stepping on the toes, why do you think, like I said, back with the DS example, people bought the regular DS because it was cheaper and it had more games? They didn't know about the whole, they didn't buy the 3DS because they didn't know about the backwards compatibility thing. You
Yeah.
didn't advertise it. You didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
So they were buying DSs. They're like, it's not even worth it because why would I buy a system when I could buy this that's way cheaper,
Yeah.
like hundreds of dollars
100%
cheaper?
cheaper, way cheaper.
And the thing is, that's what people do. And I think at some point, if you keep this up, Nintendo, if you keep bringing it up and up, and up, and I'm also going to cut that out.
What?
The fart you did.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Or I'm going to add it in the intro. Probably. But I'll add my voice cracks, and I'll add my ear thing. Yeah.
All right. Anyway. Wow.
But yeah, we have an intro now. Anywho, you're gonna suffer. You will suffer for this. You will suffer for what you're doing. You keep doing this. You keep pulling this crap,
so.
and you will.
Honestly.
Nintendo's gonna do it, dude. Why would they not? Why would they not? They're at their height of what they think their popularity is. They think they're so high up. They think they're so good. Dude, they stomped out an indie game. You think they're going to stop at pricing the thing higher these days? They didn't do that back in the day. They didn't care what indie games did because they weren't big. They're going to go higher and higher and higher.
I'm very confused. I feel like if Palworld had the numbers it does now when it started, I don't think that Nintendo would have done anything.
No, they wouldn't have cared. But it's getting bigger. They have competition. They're scared.
Well, it dropped off huge.
I'm saying it got bigger and bigger at first.
Yeah, they were like, oh, $2 million? Just on Steam? Like, go.
They're scared. What they don't realize is that what they don't realize is that
I haven't even played it yet.
I haven't played it either. Probably because I'm just like here's the thing.
I just don't like survival games that much unless they're like really cool.
I'm one for indie games, but I would have rather just had a regular Pokemon clone, to be honest, like Temtem or something.
Temtem was good. I actually really liked it.
I've been tempted to play clones.
How did Temtem
not get killed?
Yeah.
Because it didn't have a multiplayer. Some that don't have multiplayer components.
It did have multiplayer.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a massive open world.
I also think Temtem just never got that big.
Let's say I made a Zelda-like, like a Zelda adjacent game that was linear. They wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Because it's not open world. I've thought about that. I thought of genuinely being like, okay, I like Zelda. If old Zelda's not going to come back, I want to do something similar. They wouldn't care if I did that because they don't care about the past. I think the real problem Palworld had is that they made it an open world.
Yeah.
I think Palworld would have been more interesting to me if they made it like a traditional Pokemon game. I might have actually bought it, personally. I probably would have bought it if they tried to actually... I think that's the problem is Palworld tried to bite off more than they could chew.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's good that Nintendo's doing this, but when you're doing something like this, when you're starting a game, when you're making something and you see Nintendo doing this, you don't copy exactly what they do.
So true.
You need to make it linear. If they would have made it linear, if they would have gotten rid of the survival stuff and just made Pokemon, maybe added Megas or something or some new mechanic in between, they wouldn't have cared if they copied the ball thing. They wouldn't have cared if they had the creature thing. It's the open world. That's why they're so upset. That's their thing. If someone does open world better, because their open world, apparently, according to people, frame rate wise is terrible. Like, Nintendo's scared.
Open world was sick. That was the only sick part about
Nintendo's scared.
But this whole Switch ran like Garbo in that sense anyway.
But Nintendo's scared. If anything runs good,
they had
better.
Clearly, they're scared. Because I don't think they would have gone after him if, I'm telling you, if it would have done half the numbers, like less than half the numbers, I don't think Nintendo would have done a single thing. But they're so douchey.
Yes, they are.
So this is what now that we've really definitely set the plane.
Yeah, we've definitely set the table here.
Also, Temtem only has 257 players on 24 hours, and its all-time peak which was only on Steam, is 39,000.
I mean, that's
probably part of the reason that Nintendo
didn't
go after.
They also probably gave up. I mean, dude, when you make a game, you got to go sequel if you want to keep the public interest.
Yeah, or keep adding
like or sequel.
Stuff.
That's your only way of doing it.
So this is the tweet regarding the lawsuit. Changes to Palworld and the future. We would like to express our sincere gratitude and appreciation for the continued support of our fans over the past few months. We apologize for not being able to share as much information as we would like, but we trust our fans understand how difficult it is to be truly transparent while litigation is ongoing. Currently, we remain involved in a prolonged legal proceedings regarding alleged patent infringement.
Alleged.
They gotta say alleged, otherwise they'll use this in court being like, even you admit.
Yeah.
We continue to dispute these claims and assert the good on them.
Yeah, agreed.
To assert these claims, or we continue to dispute these claims and assert the invalidity of the patents in question. However, we have had to make certain compromises in order to avoid disruptions to the development and distribution of Palworld. Which makes it seem like they're
Well, here's what I
losing.
think. I think the reason they're pulling back on it is because they want to win this case. They want to win this case.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, crap, well, the less that we have that's similar.
They want to win this case against Nintendo. They want to survive.
But they're saying the less that we have that's similar, the less they'll say that we have the same.
It's not about losing, I think. I think it's more so about, and I think...
Well, don't you lose a ton of money if you lose?
Yes, you do lose a ton of money.
Because they're spending money in court fees alone.
I guess I'm saying something different where Nintendo's got the eye of everybody on them. I'm not even thinking about Palworld right now. They've got the eyes on them. Obviously, they're still going to have their fan bots running to them at every corner, every dime.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you keep doing stuff like this, if you keep pulling this garbage, if you keep pricing things up, if you keep suing people for wanting to be inspired by your wonderful work you did back in the day, someday it's going to happen. You can't get away with this forever. I don't think so. It's not like Ubisoft's going up to people and smacking them up the head for drawing a picture of Sam Fisher.
Can right now.
Yeah, for drawing a picture of Sam Fisher or making a stealth game. They don't care. They didn't care at the time when they were at their height. The thing is, people rise and people fall.
You don't hear about this very often. About people being like... suing smaller, punching down.
Exactly.
Like this bad.
Do you know why they don't do it? The other people don't? Because they would get bad publicity.
Yeah.
Bad publicity
Nintendo
isn't
does not care.
good. Nintendo doesn't care. It's getting reckless. It makes me wonder what Miyamoto's thinking. What's he doing up there?
That is
What's
a
he
good
doing,
question.
bro. What's going on in the echelons of this place? What are the creatives? Someone just split off from Game. I think Game Freak hates Nintendo. They actually do. They straight up do. They don't like them, but they're owned by them. They don't necessarily like them.
The guys who make the Pokemon games.
Yeah,
the good
they're
ones.
the real people that made Pokemon, not Nintendo. They don't like Nintendo. They don't like them.
But whose idea was it?
Game Freaks. It was not Nintendo's.
No, I'm saying who's the sole person who made it?
Satoshi Tajiri, I think.
And he was worked with Game Freak to make Pokemon?
Yep.
And then Nintendo bought it?
Nintendo probably bought it before it was finished. Before it was finished.
Oh.
They made Mendel Palace and stuff. I think they were a general publisher. They might have been a general publisher in general, but Nintendo didn't make it.
Gotcha.
They might have, maybe they assisted with like minor things, but it's Game Freak. It was programmed by Game Freak.
That makes sense.
But this is what I'm going to say. This is what Nintendo's real gold is. And this is the funny part. It hurts my soul to say this.
Hit me.
Forget about the Zeldas. Forget about the Marios. Forget about the Smash. Forget about all that. Pokemon is the gold.
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon is the gold
that
makes them the money.
Ton of money, yeah.
And Nintendo, this is the thing. Game Freak's getting mad at them. Game Freak's getting upset. They're tired of being treated like crap.
Did they say that?
Yeah, there's a lot of... I've seen some disgruntled employees that were very upset about what they were doing. I want to talk about this... We may talk about this in another episode.
Cool, yeah.
But closing thoughts on that is... If they lose that golden goose...
If they lose Pokemon?
Is really...
Nintendo owns Pokemon, so how would they lose it?
I'm saying...
You're saying they lose Game Freak.
If Game Freak doesn't like them enough... Game Freak is what made them the thing they are. If Game Freak is gone, Pokemon is technically gone. Yes, they have it, but it's not going to be as good. Game Freak had blood, sweat, and tears in this. I'm saying, why is Nintendo so freaking nervous about an indie company being so high up? What's the reason?
I don't
for
know.
a little bit. Just getting a little bit of a peek. What's the problem? Is it jealousy? What is it?
Wait, what was the question?
I'm asking, why are they so scared of Palworld?
Oh,
Is it pride? What is it? That's what I want to know.
I don't know, man.
What is it?
I think, and I could be wrong, but I think Nintendo is so up their own buttholes that they literally think that they're so special that if you copy them, that you're like messing with their art, basically. That's what I think.
But I want to know the real answer, and I'm gonna do some digging. I want to find out what's going on, what's happening.
This is why, but it's like why any company. First off, there's money, even if it's a little bit.
Yeah, what's going on?
Like it's money. They're like, oh, that's what's going on. It's always money first. You just follow the money.
Yes, that's part of it.
Second off, it's always I don't know. Nintendo thinks everything they do is a masterpiece.
They do,
That's just a fact.
even though that's not true.
So they think it's stealing. Even so, it's so dumb, and it's also not true. It's definitely not true.
That
That's just how they act.
the open world is the problem.
Yeah, but why wouldn't they make them?
Temtem-
You can't copyright an open world. That's not possible.
I'm not saying they're copywriting an open world, but the reason why they're doing these things, part of it, I think, is because it is similar to Scarlet and Violet conceptually.
well,
They're
if you think about it, they're actually
games.
super different.
If
'Cause
I'm
Palworld's a survival
I
world
know,
builder.
but I'm saying in terms of like, you got the glider, you got the big world you're wandering around.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Nintendo's picking some random garbo when the game's super different.
Yes,
It's like
they don't want competition. They don't.
they don't.
No
do
matter how
believe.
small it is, they don't want competition.
Well, yes. I do think it matters how small it is because I think if they wouldn't have gotten big, they wouldn't have said anything.
That's true. That's true.
But you're right though. The competition is what it is because once they saw like, well, this could compete a little bit, even a little bit. They're like, no. We're gonna sue your balls off.
Let's to recap.
But there's still more to the tweet, but yeah.
Nintendo's basically suing Palworld, jacking up
Correct.
the price for the Switch 2.
Correct.
Obviously, they've been stamping on
Jacking up the
years.
price for games.
Jacking up the price for games, not letting you own the games. So you just lost the collectors.
Getting basically rid of physical copies. Pretty much.
You lost the collectors. So, and that's a big part of the market, buddy. Those collectors, those guys who think that they own that little piece of plastic, even though they still don't.
Yeah.
Those
'Cause
guys
it still has
that-
to download, yeah.
Yeah, those guys that think that they own. Yeah, no, dude.
Because the game's not really
No.
on there.
No. And guess what? You're stepping on the market of those retro guys that buy overpriced games on the internet.
Correct.
And they're a massive dude. They're willing to buy $1,000. They're willing to pay $1,000 for the console. And I'm like, guys, I went to a local store. The only console I've ever bought, and this was like a recent thing. I bought a $60 DS,
Yeah.
and then I bought like a cartridge
Sick.
that just had a bunch of games on it.
Smart man.
So if the
Dude, that's
emulator,
awesome.
if it's annoying, if the
I would love to have
touchscreen
that
gets in
too.
the way, I do that. But if it doesn't, I play it on computer.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Sorry, Nintendo.
That's the thing,
That's what it
Nintendo.
is.
That's the thing.
So, yes, to recap, they haven't had
Yeah.
a ton of good publicity lately.
No.
To recap.
No.
Not
Yeah.
including their Pokemon games. I don't think Scarlet and Violet's bad, but there is bad too.
Yes.
It's like we haven't gotten a solid. And I'm not gonna lie. The more I think about it, the X and Y stuff looks kind of lame. Not in the sense of like. So I'm gonna guess you can't leave the city. That's
For
lame.
me, not having a massive world sounds more appealing because a lot of times with Nintendo can't seem to populate the world for crap. 90%.
That's
of
true,
the
but
time.
even the there wasn't even that many people in the city that. Well, it looks more populated.
It looks
than
and
usual.
and for me, I want to go back. You know what I want to do? Just go back to linear Pokemon. Just go back to linear Pokemon. If me buying this is gonna bring them to it, then I'm doing that. I want spin-offs.
I'm gonna buy it anyway. I'm gonna buy it.
I want
'cause
spin-offs.
It does
I
look
want-
cool, and it is a spin-off. I do think it's kind of like lazy to just make it so you can't leave the city. I also think the colors look terrible.
Oh yeah, if you're
Like, it
talking
looked
visual.
bad.
I mean, dude, when is a Nintendo game other than like it's been 7 years since one looked.
yeah, Sword and Shield looked really colorful.
Same with Luigi's Mansion. I'm saying like,
It's just like bland. It's like, dude, we don't come to Nintendo for any form of realism. We just
no. But the problem with Pokemon and the problem with Zelda is that they're like going for. You know what they're doing? For Zelda, they went for abstract cel shaded, like abstract as balls.
Yeah, but Zelda, they could have. Zelda was more of like
Yes.
a cool graphic, nitty gritty kind of style.
Yeah.
So those are the games you should be doing that with.
Yes.
Like not Pokemon.
No.
Like, dude, we don't want that.
The
We want color. We want color.
Yes.
It's.
Pokemon's about that. It's not meant to be.
Do I think the game's gonna be
desaturated.
cool and I'm gonna play it? Yeah. Like I think it's gonna be good.
The
Like,
problem with
I just
these,
like the world is like part of the Pokemon that I love. Like
same.
going to the new
The world
cities.
is in some ways the best part.
the in between areas you're traveling, the routes, like all that could be beautiful.
And the funny part is, it's on a Game Boy.
Scarlet and Violet, yeah, true. But Scarlet and Violet, it's like the world is awesome. It's just that the cities are like crap.
Oh, agreed.
So it's like okay, most of them. There's like a few okay ones, but for the most part, it's like, dude, why are you like? We want when I travel through the real world and get to a new city for that I want to stay a little while,
yes.
not just beat the gym and be like, see ya,
yeah.
and have a plot point in there besides just the gym leader.
Yes, like the
Like-
games when you'd have the older games would have
You're
team
doing
members
things.
going around. Yeah.
Like you're fighting your rival in there, then the evil team's going around, or
Yeah.
like you got to help somebody to get an item to move forward.
Yep.
or
You
something
or
like
you have
that.
to go to a different town.
like do that. Like that's awesome.
or get an HM or a TM or whatever.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like you have to do stuff. And the problem is they forgot that. I've noticed
Yes, they
that
did.
since they removed HMs, that also kind of made it so
HMs were annoying.
they were annoying, but it's funny. The second they removed
But
those,
it makes it so you have more to do,
yeah, it's like
which is nice.
what's annoying to me is like you're telling me that getting rid of HMs, a massive restrictor, made it so you couldn't like do anything. Like you can't do anything now. You have to like get rid of the progression locks. The progression locks are what make it interesting.
Yeah, but you don't even have to. Yeah, but the thing is, it's not so much that they're locked, as much as it's like something else to do.
Yes.
Like it makes you do more. It makes you explore more. You can do that without having an HM. They just don't have that at all.
Yes.
Like besides, I'm sorry, I don't care so much about exploring unless there's a reason to do it.
I miss being
any
able
game.
to surf to different islands.
I don't care about like,
Oh,
yeah,
great.
that's awesome. Like, give me a reason to do it for the game, or I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm just gonna beat the like.
Yeah.
It's not like. I know there's other people who play games oppositely. They love exploring.
Yeah,
they
they
look
love
at the
exploring.
whole island.
Give me a town to be on. Like give me a
Yeah.
quest, give me a
With-
thing.
Give me people to talk to.
Yes.
Why is your DLC always better than the main game too? Like, put that effort in the main game.
Agreed. Well, it's probably
The characters in the DLC, Scarlet and Violet did a lot better with having more characters and stuff, but the DLC in Scarlet and Violet is amazing. Like, both aspects of the DLC is incredible. Sword and Shield had, like, one kind of bad one. Even though the characters in it were cool, but it was just a grind again.
yeah, the panda thing.
Like, the other one's
yeah.
like a tournament.
They forced you to use a Pokemon.
And then the one with the frozen place, like the frozen tundra, was awesome.
And
Like,
that was Sword and Shield actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Frozen
saying.
Tundra, yeah.
like I'm saying that, like, why is your DLC have
So
more
much
interesting
better.
characters and stories than the main game?
The reason why is because, well, here's what's funny. Every time, remember back in the day, you get like, think about Gen 2, dude. That's a Game Boy Color. That game had 2 regions.
So sick.
2
man.
regions.
And they could do that now.
It had
Like,
2
they could
regions.
give stuff 2 regions now.
This is the problem, dude. I miss surfing. I miss having to surf
Me
to an
too.
island. I miss having to. I miss surfing on a Pokemon.
They don't really do anything with water.
I miss
like in the sense
diving.
of like where you have to go in water to. Sword and Shield did, but
I miss secret bases, dude. Those were cool.
those were sick. Yeah.
They were simple. Those
Anyway,
were
there's a
fun.
lot of cool stuff, but like back to the tweet. Well, on November 30th, 2024, we released a patch for Palworld. This patch removed the ability to summon pals by throwing pal spheres, and instead changed it to static summon next to the player. Several other game mechanics were also changed with this patch. As many have speculated, these changes are indeed a result of the ongoing litigation. Everyone here at Pocket Pair was disappointed that the adjustments had to be made, and we fully understand that many players feel the same frustration. Unfortunately, as the alternate would have led to an even greater deterioration of the gameplay experiences for players, it was determined that this change was necessary. Furthermore, we regret to inform our players that with this next patch, we must make yet another compromise. From this patch onward, gliding will be performed using a glider rather than with the pals. Pals in the player's team will still provide passive buffs to gliding, but players will now need to have a glider in their inventory in order to glide. We understand that this is disappointing for many, just as it was for us, but we hope our fans understand that these changes are necessary in order to prevent further disruptions to the development of Palworld. We also want to extend our apologies to our fans for the discomfort and concern this ongoing litigation has. We remain committed to developing Palworld and delivering exciting new content to our fans. On behalf of everyone at Pocket Pair and Team Palworld, thank you again for your continued support.
I'm probably going to throw that tweet at the beginning just for like a better flow.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, I'll throw that at the beginning of the episode. But basically, they got shafted. Weren't treated
So that
correctly.
makes it seem like they're losing.
It does. I don't think they're going to win forever, though. I don't think Nintendo's going to...
I don't even know. I think this is so bad for Palworld. Like, so bad. Because think of all the money they're putting to fight Nintendo.
Yes.
And they're already having to make compromises.
Well, this is the problem with them. And the things they're replacing with static summon, dude. You couldn't put like a wrist thing on that like...
I agree.
This is what I would do if I
take the balls
were...
out, make it cooler.
Here's what I would have done if I were Palworld.
Yeah, but, dude, the point is, what are we going to... Like, they're screwed.
Yeah, they're screwed.
Like, right? Like, if you're losing already... Like,
Bro...
There's no way they made so much money they can fight Nintendo.
At this point, you should have just killed Palworld and did a similar game that didn't try to completely copy it.
Is that what you think?
Yes, that's what they should have done. They shouldn't have even started. The second the trial started,
Yeah, you're actually right.
kill
If
Palworld.
Nintendo assumed they could be like, all right, we'll pull the plug and make a new game.
I'm not saying it's good on Nintendo's part, but it's like just make another game, dude. You have the code.
That's a good point.
The thing is, you can make a new thing. And you know what? That might be better for you because you could get players back. That's the thing.
Yeah, and you'd have all this hype of like, look, Nintendo killed this stuff.
Yeah.
So you can be mad at them, but...
Exactly. But
That's a good point.
The constant fighting, I get fighting, but now you're fighting for nothing. You're fighting for sand.
It does kind of feel like that, doesn't it?
You're fighting for nothing now.
It does.
Like,
I'm not trying to be dark about it, but it's kind of like...
You're fighting for nothing with this because my biggest problem is... First off, I think the idea of Palworld, I think that was risky in general. Like,
true. With the ball,
is,
I mean, come on, the spheres.
And I'm
you
not
think
saying
of something else?
it's justified on Nintendo's part, but the problem is at this point, Nintendo's at their golden age right now. They're at their golden age.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately, they're at their big, not in terms of sales. No. The system thing still lies. I'm sure they're actually. That's probably why the DS was so popular. Probably foreign countries picked it up too.
Yeah, true. Actually, yeah.
The thing is, this is the thing. Nintendo is blind. They are blind, and they're not just jerks, but they're also blind. They are blind to the fact that they were supposed to be the poor man's market, the poor man's option.
They are blind to that.
They are blind, but they're forgetting that. And that is going to bite them in the backside if they keep doing it. If they keep pushing, if they keep bringing the price up, if they keep doing this and this and this,
Yeah.
they will suffer. It will happen. Everyone's going to be like, dude, you're just a small YouTuber. Nobody cares. It's like, well, guess what, guys? It's going to happen. It will. Because they're greedy. Dude, they don't care about their fans. They will step on their toe. People,
Yes, they will.
Look,
clearly they've proven it time
I
and
will
time
agree.
again.
People are dumb. But there's a point. When you step on the toes of the casual audience, you step on the toes of your gold mine.
You do.
And when and the thing is, you're starting to do that a little bit. They're starting. So at first it was just us, the people who like mods, the people who like ROM hacks, the people who like competitive tournaments.
Yeah.
But now you're starting to step on the toes.
You're expanding. It's not so niche anymore.
No.
Now it's pricing.
Now it's
now
pricing.
We're all seeing that you're kind of douchebags.
You're suing people who are inspired by you, creatives. You're going for everybody. And at some point, an indie company. And the thing is, it's not gonna be pretty. It won't be. Dude, I don't care what. Dude, Nintendo has no PR sense. They just don't.
No, I don't think they care at all.
They have no PR sense.
I don't think they're just like, oh, we don't care.
Every other company I've seen, Microsoft, they basically gave us the keys to Halo and said, hey, you don't like this Halo? Go make more Halo. They said to the fans, go do it yourselves, essentially. I'm not saying every company needs to do that, but in Halo's case, that was kind of the better option.
I mean, think about the rage that happened. Yeah, you're right. Halo's awesome.
But I'm saying you need to look at these companies as an example where it's like your competition is getting good eyes on them.
Yeah.
Because
and now we think they're better, even better.
It's like I used to think you were really good, Nintendo.
Me too. You used to be one of my favorites.
But the problem is, the more you step on people are dumb. That is a fact. But when you keep Eventually, the rat stops going for the cheese. Yeah, because the cheese stops getting appealing.
We'll get shocked over and over and over again, but eventually, we stop going for the cheese.
Agreed. And you know why they're cutting off their nostalgic games? It's a ploy. I think it genuinely is. You know why they're putting a paywall behind it?
Why?
They also want people to forget about it. They want people to forget about those games.
They've been clear about that.
They don't want people to remember them. They definitely
don't want you to own them all at once.
They don't want you to own them. They want you to forget it. It's like, bro, that's not going to happen. And the more you step on you already stepped on our toes and burned our thing, but you're stepping on their toes and burn their thing.
Eventually, it's going to have repercussions.
It will.
Also, think about all the backlash they got for the pricing and how their whole streams where they were showing stuff off was like, lower the price, lower the price, lower the price. And they had a huge boardroom meeting about it, and then they just said, we're not changing anything.
Yep. And you're stepping on the toes. See, you were smart with the DS because you started out with a lower price option.
True.
But the problem is there is no lower price option.
Nope.
There is none.
Nope.
You can't play those Switch 2 games on a Switch 1.
It's a paywall, a giant paywall to play their new games.
Yep. There's no backwards compatibility either. You have to pay to play the backwards compatible stuff. Notice something, and this is what's going to happen. I swear it's going to happen, and it's going to be like freaking karma instantly. This is the biggest thing that I'm going to relish in. Those fans of those new games are going to see exactly what we had to suffer through. Like, where we had to deal with the fact that they hate us remembering the old ones.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying the old ones aren't remembered. I'm not saying it has a massive contingency. Ocarina of Time has
but they want you to play their new stuff. They've said that. They want you to play the new stuff, not think about the old stuff.
Welcome to the club, Breath of the Wild fans. Welcome to the club, Tears of the Kingdom fans. Soon enough, your games are going to be in the same position as Ocarina of Time.
It'll be a while.
Same position as Majora's Mask. Same position as the other stuff. Oh, no, dude. At some point, they'll make a new Zelda idea. It'll blow up, and then they'll basically just say, forget that. That's their thing. They'll find a new formula.
Tears of Kingdom.
They'll do it.
About it.
That's what's going to happen. It will. They'll think of some amazing idea, and then the normies will get latched to it, and they'll be like, dude, this is so cool. What's a Zelda? I thought Zelda was a girl. Like those kinds of people coming in. You have those kinds of people coming in.
I thought that for a long time.
And then they're like, wait, there's other Zelda games? Then they go back and play those Zelda games like, wait a minute, these are really good. Like, why did you forget these? What the heck, guys? Why couldn't I play this? And then they're going to see.
I just watched a video of someone playing Ocarina for the first time, and he was like, this is amazing.
Yep, they're going to see exactly how we feel. They're going to want the games that we wanted. And then Nintendo is going to get to a point where they're going to have to bow to their customers. They will. Right now, they're
really
free
hope
as a
so.
bird. They're free as a
really
bird
hope
right
so.
now. They're going to be
Why
free.
have such a big meeting and act like you're freaking out if you're going to change nothing?
They're not going to because
They're like, oh, everyone got mad about the price. Whatever.
you know, it's funny.
What was the meeting? Who cares?
I'm glad they didn't change it for one reason.
I wouldn't buy it either.
I
way.
want them to keep stepping on the toes of their consumers, and they're doing it. They're doing exactly what I want them to do. They're falling right into my trap because you're stepping on the casuals, and the casuals speak. And if you keep stepping on them, those casuals are going to leave. You're already gating off games they love. You're already, you're basically funding ROM sites, essentially. That's what you're doing. You're funding the people that you want to step out, and they're going to keep their cockroaches.
And
They
I'm
will
glad
never
they're doing
stop.
it because if they had their wish, it's like we'd never think about it
Yeah,
again.
it's like this isn't an issue. It's like people don't understand. Well, they do now. They're going to understand. They're going to be just
They're
like us.
definitely gonna.
They're going to be just like us. They're going to be sitting there like, can I play this game? And guess
I
what?
know.
You're going to have to go somewhere else to get it.
Anyway.
I'm not going to tell you just for the sake of not getting slammed.
Yeah. I mean, they should tell you.
But God bless, folks.
Yep, God bless. We'll see. That was a great episode.
Yep.
See you next week.